the Legal Corner podcast series. Welcome to today's episode of The Legal Corner, a podcast which covers a variety of legal issues to keep you informed. Hosted by attorney at law Colin Dinoon and communications specialist Leonardo Torres. Pleasure to be with you again for another episode of the Legal Corner podcast series. On today's episode, we'll be discussing holistic wellness. Now, you might be hearing holistic wellness and you might be wondering, what is holistic wellness? So we're going to get right into this topic. It's a very interesting topic. Our guest of honor today is a medical doctor and a owner of her own private practice. And before I bring her on, let me just give you a brief introduction of who she is. Her name is Dr. Cavila Garraway, and she is a national scholarship winner who studied at the University of the West Indies Mona campus, where she obtained a bachelor's in medical sciences in 2015 and a bachelor's in medicine and surgery in 2017. She is a firm believer in lifelong learning in the healthcare field in order to provide the best patient care. In 2021, she was awarded a postgraduate diploma in emergency medicine with distinction from the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus. In 2022, she obtained a diploma in holistic wellness that is certified in both the United States of America and Canada. She recently completed a fellowship in palliative care in association with St. Christopher's Hospice in the United Kingdom. Dr. Garraway has worked in many public hospitals throughout Trinidad and Tobago and has gained extensive experience in the treatment of pediatric and adult emergencies. She currently works part-time in the public system in an adult emergency department and at a health center in the general practice clinic. Dr. Garraway has founded her own medical and holistic practice called Holistic Therapeutic Center, located in St. Augustine, Trinidad, where she combines all of her knowledge for the well-being of her clients. A very well-read person who we chose to be our guest today for this topic, holistic wellness. And I'm so honored to bring her on at this time. Dr. Garraway, how are you doing today?
Leonardo, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, and I'm doing great. Thank you.
And again, welcome to the Legal Corner podcast series. Now, first and foremost, tell us, what is holistic wellness?
Yes, Leonardo. So, holistic wellness. Actually, let's start with the word holistic. It means parts being interconnected to make a whole. So, in terms of wellness and health, holistic wellness means the consideration of a patient in terms of their mind, body, and soul. So, we're considering not just the physical symptoms or illness that they present with, but also their mental state, emotional state, spiritual state, energetic, financial, as well as their social condition. So all of those things come together and contribute to your whole person. And that's what we consider in holistic wellness.
All right. Now, a lot of persons just, when they hear about a medical doctor, they will just think of traditional medicine. You have a pain, you're experiencing some sort of illness or disease, and then we go to our doctor to get it remedied. So holistic wellness is something new to the average Joe. Now, to educate those who may not know about holistic wellness, how would you say it differs from traditional medicine?
That's a good question, and I've gotten asked that a lot. So there's a great difference, and to start with, I would want to talk about when we say traditional medicine. I think we're both referring to Western medicine, and that's where you're actually diagnosing a patient with an illness because of their physical symptoms that they present with. And the treatment would often be either pharmaceutical based, which is like pills, or it could be surgery or referral to like physiotherapy or psychotherapy. So just clarifying that that's like, the basis of Western medicine. So, holistic wellness is entirely different in terms of the approach, the mindset of the practitioner, as well as the treatment option. So, to start with the approach and mindset, like as I mentioned before, you're going to be looking at the patient as a whole person, and we need to have a complete picture of their life, where they are mentally, their emotional state, energetic state, spiritual state, how is their work and home environment, because all of these things in holistic wellness are believed to impact on the patient and can even manifest as physical symptoms. And in terms of the treatment, a lot of holistic wellness practitioners will not be medical doctors, although some can be. So their treatment is not pharmaceutical based at all, which means obviously you have to have a medical degree to write a prescription for those things. So holistic wellness is more complementary to traditional medicine, and their treatment options can be things such as counseling a client, things like nutritional counseling, lifestyle changes such as exercise, things like meditation, mindfulness, and energy healing, etc.
Right. And I like that as a doctor that you are, with that holistic specialty that you are able to marry the two. So whether it is either or, you can basically diagnose or treat whatever that person is experiencing. Now, how as a medical doctor do you integrate holistic wellness and Western medicine, as you corrected us by saying?
Oh, yes. That is very important for me, how I integrate the two for patients. And to answer this question, I would just give a little bit of background, which is to say that even from being a medical student in medicine, I noticed that I found there were some gaps in knowledge that I wanted to learn in order to treat my patients properly. So we did not learn extensively about nutrition, and we did not learn how to counsel patients more than medical consult in terms of dealing with more mental health issues. And I was interested in other areas that I noticed were lacking. So, for example, just to say, as I've worked in the public system, a medical doctor in the Western medicine system would have to, in order to get a patient to get some nutritional counseling or see someone for mental health, such as a psychiatrist or psychologist, they would have to write referrals to be for a patient to go and get these things done. And there are many reasons why a patient may not be able to access the treatment that is needed because the doctor wasn't able to give it to them in that moment. Of course, just to say, doctors are often very busy and overloaded. And patients then have to find their way to these different referral departments and, make appointments. Things take time. You know how the public health system can be. And so therefore, I found a lot of patients weren't receiving the care that they needed. So when I've learned now this holistic wellness, when a patient comes to me, I don't have any of those delays. Right away, I can actually explain to them if I want to give them nutritional counseling, if I realize they need of mental health counseling, I can start that process and I can educate my patients so much better. As well as a good example would be many patients have back pain, and if they come and see me just as a medical doctor, and I decide it's because of, let's say, muscle spasms, I may only give them pain medication and say, send them on their way. Now, I can offer medical massage therapy because I know it's due to muscle spasms, and a massage can release, that spasm, as well as giving them anti-inflammatory pain medication, etc. So in many areas, I've been able to now integrate the two, and I think it helps the patient. I definitely feel more fulfilled and I get more positive results from patients where they can actually get all of their needs addressed at once.
Excellent. I love the sound of that. And I love the fact that we as people in the 21st century love that one-stop shop. Instead of having to go to someone else for something else, as you would have just given a good example there of someone experiencing a muscle pain. Now, in doing some research on you before today's episode, I did observe that at the Holistic Therapeutic Center, we can come to you whether we are seeking relief in the Western medicine type or something that is of holistic wellness or something that requires some sort of therapy. But I would like you to tell us, what services do you offer at the Holistic Therapeutic Center?
Yes, Leonardo, just as you said, that was a vision I had for Holistic Therapeutic Center, where it can be a one-stop shop or place to address all your medical and wellness needs. So I do offer both medical and holistic services, and patients can see me for either or get a combination of the two. So for medical, just totally what a normal medical doctor would do, which is like taking a history, examining you, medicals that are needed for all purposes, like fit for work, driver's permits, food badges, etc., diagnosing any illness, writing prescriptions, giving referrals to specialists as needed. I do full laboratory testing, including all blood and urine tests, referrals for any radiological investigations, which means things like x-rays, ECGs for the heart, ultrasounds, CT scans, etc., whatever is needed. And I see all ages at my office. I see children, adults, and the elderly. And I also provide a palliative care clinic, which is for anyone who has been diagnosed with any incurable chronic illness. So it's actually a lot of services because that's just the medical side. But on the holistic side, my holistic consultations are often for an hour and they involve counseling extensively. So it's either holistic counseling, nutritional counseling. I do stress and anxiety management clinics. I offer the medical massage therapy, as mentioned, which includes like deep tissue massage, cupping therapy, reflexology, and energy healing therapies such as Reiki, chakra balancing, color therapy, and lots more. Because a lot of my services are actually targeted depending on what the patient comes for, and I would suggest to them what is needed. So, and I also have a new clinic for children with special needs, such as autism or any attention deficit disorder. So many, many, many services.
Sounds very elaborate and I love it. So at this point, we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us here at the Legal Corner podcast series. Now, Dr. Gary, right before the break, we were talking a lot about what holistic wellness is and some of the services that you offer and how it integrates with Western medicine. Now, I would assume the life of a doctor is a very busy one, especially you who really manages two different sides of the sphere of what wellness is. Now, what do you think from experience are some of the main issues your clients come to you to have addressed?
Thank you, Leonardo. That is a very important question because I have definitely seen a trend. And what I would say is that most patients come to me because of pain. And when I say pain, I mean pain that can be physical, mental, or emotional. So pain that is in the body, a lot of people come in surprisingly for back pain, some form of muscular pain. It can be due to like a viral illness, like a cold, or they may be very stressed, holding stress in their body. A lot of times people come to me for emotional pain due to, various life situations that they're going through. And maybe perhaps most doctors would find that, persons come to you when they're in pain. And a lot of patients also come because they have difficulty sleeping. So that's insomnia. And generally any kind of unease or discomfort in their mind, body, or soul. And that's why they say disease is dis-ease and uneasiness in the body. So I work with a lot of patients who suffer from these different pain as well as depression, stress, anxiety, low energy, generally low mood. And those are the patients I have the most success with also. As well as in terms of the pediatric side, that was more the adults. In terms of children, I'm currently seeing a lot of children who have special needs like autism and attention deficit disorder. And a lot of them generally are doing so well with the holistic sessions. It's a lot more interactive, and I'm really excited about that special needs clinic. So those are the main issues I'm addressing privately right now.
Sticking with the adults for a moment, as you mentioned pain, do you see or could imagine what would be the reason why you think so many people experience those kinds of pains? Now, we know that pain, whether it's from an emotional thing, would be from issues, whether it is in their marriage, family life, but that physical pain, do you see any correlation with lifestyle that probably causes this to be one of the main issues that you're dealing with at your clinic?
In terms of the physical pain, definitely lifestyle for sure. Right now, a lot of persons are, doing jobs that are desk jobs, I would say, or they are driving a lot. Not a lot of people are walking anymore or exercising. A lot of persons are using computers, and so they're kind of hunched over at desks, or if they're working in constructions or different types of people come to me for pain, but I often find it's lifestyle related. It may be someone who's constantly using their hands. If they get pain in their wrists, like carpal tunnel syndrome, if they get back pain, they often hunched over writing. So you can often find a correlation between someone's lifestyle and the pain that they are experiencing, and then you know how to address it properly.
All right. Thank you for sharing that information with us. You did touch on stress and anxiety as some of those emotional pains that sometimes we get. I believe you told us it under the umbrella of depression. But talk to us about stress and anxiety. What are its causes and what are the potential effects from having stress and anxiety?
Oh, this is a very prevalent condition in society right now, Leonardo. And it's going to be a little bit of a long answer, but there are
Sure, we really
many,
want to learn about it. Tell us.
yes, there are many, many causes for stress and anxiety. I'm sure almost everyone in today's world can say that they are stressed or anxious at some point. So, like, the definition of stress would really be, like you said, emotional. It's a mental and emotional strain or tension that will result from any adverse or demanding circumstances. So, in life, there can be many demanding circumstances, and that can be in terms of socially, it can be job related, family related, relationship between friends, family, romantic, financial stress. So all of these things can actually cause stresses. But what I would say I've noticed is that there's been, and it's been studied, that there's a significant increase in today's generation and current society of the levels of persons who are very stressed and being diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And I would say it's largely due to modern technology and the way that we use it. So, everybody has a cell phone and anyone can access you instantly at any time of the day or night. And I've noticed many jobs clients will say expect them to instantly reply to emails or messages, even if it's whatever hour. Also, things like Instagram, which we love to use, but it's constantly showing us a highlight reel of people's lives. It definitely encourages persons to compare themselves to others. And that can be stressful in and of itself if you are seeing that you are going through difficult times, stressful times, and all you can see online is a highlight reel that you don't notice that it's just the highlight reel of that person's life and they have stress too. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we are a very overstimulated society too. We are constantly taking in information from all kinds of sources that we weren't exposed to before. And that in itself can stress us mentally and kind of overload our system. So, Leonardo, even the recent war that's occurring right now in Palestine, in Gaza, these things, back in the day, we wouldn't have really known what was exactly going on the other side of the world so easily, and we wouldn't have seen the graphic images as well of what is happening. So many different things that are going on, and us being able to see it is like if we are actually there in the moment and we're going to react internally, and our stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline are going to rise and spike just because we are watching the news. And I'm not saying that people should not be informed. All I'm saying is that we have to be aware of how much we're taking in, how stressed and anxious we can get, because everyone has a different capacity. And also just to be aware that these things can cause an increase in these hormones in our body. So, with all of that to say that there's so many causes of stress and anxiety, and I must also mention the final thing I'll say for sure is financial stress. And the worst part about it is that then those persons can't even access the resources and help that they need because they don't even have the funds to come in. But prices are rising, taxes are rising, electricity bills are rising, and salaries are not increasing. So all of these things, there's so many stresses we can find in everyday life. And now we have just made mountains, they would say, out of molehills, because everything, when you're already overstimulated, anything that happens to you can just be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So those are just some of the general stresses in our lives. I would say now, you did ask me what are the negative side effects on the body that stress can cause. So it can cause many negative side effects, but one of the main ones is it's known to increase your blood pressure. So when you have an increase in blood pressure consistently over time, we can say that you will be diagnosed with hypertension, which is high blood pressure. And this can have very negative side effects on the body, which can lead to life-threatening conditions such as strokes, which is like where you would develop a potentially bleeding in the brain, and even heart attacks. And other negative side effects could be developing migraines, chronic pain in different parts of the body, autoimmune conditions, which is where your body begins to fight itself. It turns on itself, and that's often due to stress in person's lives. So many causes, Leonardo. It's actually very sad, but it's good to know that stress is one of the main causes of many chronic illnesses and causing people to lose sleep because of overthinking and ruminating, causing them to increase in their weight. Mood swings, you can get aggressive, angry. It can even affect a woman's menstrual cycle. So just to say that it can cause depression and just so many things, Leonardo, that we need to be very aware of the stressors in our lives and take action accordingly.
Thank you very much for that. And I think I've learned so much about stress there. And I think that I must ask now for the listener out there who feel as though they're experiencing stress or they have anxiety. And probably they have heard that, okay, you gave an answer that said that maybe I'm too much into social media, or I'm finding myself overthinking a lot of things probably because of the war that's going on. So I feel a bit different, and I have now been informed, so to speak, that I may have stress and anxiety, and I choose to come to the Holistic Therapeutic Center and see you to get some help. What are some of the treatment options available to someone who is experiencing stress or anxiety?
Yes, Leonardo. So I hope I haven't frightened any of our listeners, but there are many, many treatment options available. And what I would want to definitely say is that having stress and anxiety, and I always tell my clients that I want to empower them to be able to function independently of help from anyone. So, of course, at times you may need to seek help. And of course, I'm here for my clients, but my goal is to build them up and give them tools so that they can have a toolbox that they can go in whenever they notice and become aware that they are suffering from stress and anxiety. So just to say that the end goal is to enable you to be able to self-soothe and take care of your mental health and take actions, like you said, if they notice they're too much on social media, take a social media break. So just to say there are lots of things you can do personally, but I'm going to go into answering your question, which is what I can do for them first and foremost. And then after, of course, build them up to take care of themselves and see me occasionally. So there are many treatment options, and it depends on the person's particular situation and what is causing their stress. But I always have to start with counseling, and in that safe space where one can express any fears, any trials that they're going through. A patient needs to feel heard and understood, and once that's happening, healing already begins to take place. The person's nervous system starts to relax, and already some of that stress and anxiety starts to calm once they feel understood. And in counseling is where I would give those strategies I was mentioning and start to help them build a toolbox on how to manage or even decrease stress in their lives. We'll always have some form of stress, but it's how to manage it, right? And how to manage the anxiety. We might even do some role playing, how to avoid anxiety-inducing situations. And definitely a lot of lifestyle changes can be made with the support of a trusted counselor. So that's your first thing you want to get counseling. And after that, my next step is definitely educating and teaching my clients about things such as meditation, mindfulness techniques, and breathwork. Scientifically, the benefits are innumerable, but just being able to be present, it helps persons handle stress and anxiety a lot better because it's helping them get out of the past and not worry too much about the future, which is basically what anxiety is, and just be in the moment right now, addressing whatever stressors they have right now to handle in this present moment. So teaching persons how to get there or come back to the present moment when they feel overwhelmed makes a great difference. And that's something that when they learn how to do it, they can do that in their everyday life, other than with me. But I also do meditation and mindfulness coaching at my practice. And next, I would say definitely energy healing therapies make a big difference for my clients. So, for example, I offer reflexology, and for those who don't know, that's based on traditional Chinese medicine, and it's a kind of like a foot massage, but it's where pressure is applied to different areas of the feet, and it's believed through the traditional Chinese medicine that it allows the vital energy of the body to flow properly, and stress could have created some blocks in this flow of energy, and reflexology will enable the energy to flow and to go where it needs healing. From what I understand as well from a medical standpoint, with reflexology, it's when you're touching the skin, generally there are nerve sensors on the skin, and it activates your nervous system to go into a parasympathetic state. Just to explain that to people, that is where you begin to relax, which releases feel-good hormones and decreases stress hormones. And it prompts relaxation, and in that space is where healing can take place. So there are definitely proven benefits to reflexology, and many clients say they feel so revitalized and relieved of stress after a reflexology session. What else is offered? Definitely, I do massage therapy as well, and similar benefits to reflexology, but for the whole body. Leonardo, the body stores stress, anxiety, tension, any negative emotion, as we mentioned, could be stored in your muscles. So persons will notice if they're very stressed, they'll feel tension in their shoulders, their upper back, their neck. That's where they kind of carry the weight of the world, So massage therapy, which manipulates the tissues and relaxes the physical body, will also thereby relax the nervous system, and that helps you to release mentally as well. So anyone, I'm sure, who's gotten a good massage can testify to how wonderful they feel after. So Leonardo, have you had a good massage?
I have. I think really after a massage, you feel like 10 pounds lighter. You feel like the world is not in your mind anymore. It's a very rejuvenating feeling.
Exactly, yes. So another treatment, just to finish up, the last treatment I want to mention as well is, I mentioned energy healing, but there's also Reiki and chakra balancing therapies. And this is based on the body having energetic centers, the understanding that the body has energetic centers in it, and just knowledge that your body is made up of atoms and molecules and everything around you is energy, then you would understand that getting an energetic reset, which what this provides is an upliftment in your energy, and it enables persons to better handle their day-to-day life. I don't believe not many scientific studies on it, but innumerable persons have said that they feel so much better. They definitely feel less anxious. I think studies have been done on patients who had to prepare for surgery or major heart surgery and they got Reiki before, because this is actually offered in hospitals internationally in Germany and in other Eastern European countries, first world countries. And it's just complementary to medicine. And they have noticed that patients really reported decrease in stress and anxiety for sure. So this is what I definitely offer to patients, and I've seen great benefits. So stress could be stored in the energy body, and by doing this energy cleanse, it gets released, and it just helps you to start off on a clear page and build with your tools. So those are, in summary, most of the treatments I offer. I generally integrate them for a patient. So I always start with counseling, and then these are the therapies. And I just want to mention to persons who may not be able to come in to see me or hear this from wherever they are in the world, other than getting these treatments, of course, you can take some simple steps to help yourself from your toolbox. And I would like to mention like journaling. So journaling is a way for you to express yourself to yourself in a safe space. It's like if you're at counseling, but for yourself. And by writing down things, you can clear your mind. Even a to-do list, it might make an anxious person more anxious, but they're actually getting their thoughts out of their head and could help them organize and structure their days. So journaling is beneficial. Leonardo, I think you mentioned, maybe we were talking before, you mentioned to me getting sleep at night as such an important point, making sure you're getting at least 7 to 8 hours of rest, because when your body's sleeping, that's when it's able to reset and recharge and heal, and you often wake up, very rarely would you wake up instantly anxious. Actually, you'll feel much better normally after a good night's rest. And I also just want to encourage persons, of course, keeping up with their proper diet, a healthy diet, and exercise is very beneficial. All of my clients with foundation is diet and exercise, because exercise definitely helps you get feel-good hormones. It decreases anxiety for persons and helps them have a better mind frame and mindset for their life. And as well, have to mention making sure that you take time for your friends and family, like your loved ones, to reset. Have a little time for yourself, and making sure that you laugh. Even if it's watching comedy shows, all of these things are proven to decrease stress and anxiety. So I just want persons to know that you don't always, if you can't see a professional, there are definitely some things that you can do for yourself. And of course, the two go together hand in hand. So I think that is an extensive summary.
Oh, we really appreciate it. I think I've learned so much from your response. And I really like two things that you said. I love the fact that you mentioned, even before we get into treatment, we're going to get a session in where we're going to talk about what's really going on. And the fact that it's a safe space, I think people really need that. And I must commend you for, just creating that environment where people can speak so that it assists you in helping them. It kind of guides you to really get to the root cause of the problem. And I also like that you talked about the reflexology. It kind of has piqued my interest, and I think I would be speaking to you after the show to book an appointment to come and get a reflexology. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of today's episode. It, for me, is such an informative episode, an amazing episode, really, because I think that anybody can take something out of it, because we're dealing about human beings and life. And at this point, I really want to thank you for your time, your wealth of knowledge, Dr. Garraway. It has been so well informed. I feel like I've had a class at UE today. And we really want to thank you for your time, your wealth of knowledge. And before you go, I would invite you to also share with us how we can reach you, whether it's on social media or phone number, for any potential patient out there or someone who have listened and feel as though that this is something that I want to look into. This is an issue that I'm struggling with, and I want to come and see, whether it's for traditional medicine or Western medicine, as you said. or something on the holistic side, tell us how we can reach you.
Yes, Leonardo, thank you. So it was so wonderful being with everyone today, and you can reach me on various means. So in terms of my phone number, it's Trinidad. So it's 1-868-353-7228. That is 1-868-353-7228. And you can reach me on that number both on WhatsApp as well as phone call. And I'm also on Instagram. You can reach me at Dr. Cavila and my last name Garraway, Garraway. So yeah, and thank you so much, Leonardo. I really enjoyed speaking with you today, and I hope that the persons can gain some knowledge.
Thank you for listening to the Legal Corner podcast series. For more information, please visit us at our Facebook or Instagram pages or send your comments to thelegalcornerpodcast@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you.